Hello, my name is Ritisha and welcome to our channel Coding with JS. We will learn to explicitly convert values between types using built-in methods.
Sometimes you have a value in the wrong type entirely. A form gives you the string 5, but you need the number 5. Converting deliberately is called explicit type conversion. JavaScript also converts automatically, which we cover next video. Doing it yourself is far safer and far easier to read. There are 3 functions to learn and several sharp edges. The easiest of the 3 is converting something to a string. We wrap the value in the string function with a capital S. The number 42 becomes the 2-character text 42. Let us start building a table of every conversion result. The best thing about string is that it never ever fails. Even null converts happily into the 4-letter word null. Undefined becomes the 9-letter word undefined, equally happily. Every single value in JavaScript has a string representation. So string is the one conversion you can always trust. Converting to a number is considerably more interesting. The number function takes a value and tries to make a number. On a clean numeric string, it does exactly what you expect. The string 42 becomes the actual number 42. Now here is the first result that genuinely surprises people. What should an empty string convert into as a number? Most people confidently guess null because there is no number there. But JavaScript returns 0 instead, which catches everybody out. The reasoning is that an empty string contains no digits. And a number built from no digits at all is 0. That rule is consistent, but it causes real bugs in forms. An untouched input field gives you an empty string. Convert that and you silently get a perfectly valid 0. Your code then happily treats it as a real user answer. So always check for an empty string before converting it. Now what happens with a string that is only partly numeric? Here we have 12 followed immediately by some letters. Number looks at the entire string as a single unit. It finds characters that cannot be part of a number. So it gives up completely and returns null. This is the all-or-nothing behavior, and it is deliberate. Number either converts the whole thing or it fails entirely. There is no partial success anywhere in its behavior, which is usually exactly what you want for validation. But sometimes a partial answer is genuinely what you need. So the language also gives you a function called parseInt. Give it the exact same string and watch what happens. It reads characters from the front for as long as they are digits. It sees 1, then 2, then a letter and stops right there. Then it returns the number 12 and discards the rest. So the same input gives 9 one way and 12 the other. That difference is the single most useful thing in this video. Use number when the whole string must be a valid number. That is what you want when validating user input. Use parseInt when a number has a known suffix attached. Reading a CSS value like 20 pixels is the classic case. Choosing the wrong one gives you silent wrong answers. There is one more thing you must always do with parseInt. Pass a second argument saying which number base to use. For ordinary decimal numbers, that argument is simply 10. Without it, parseInt has to guess the base from the text. Older engines would read a leading 0 as octal notation, which turned the string 08 into a very confusing result. Modern engines fixed that, but the habit is still worth keeping. It costs 4 characters and removes all ambiguity forever. Now for the third conversion, which is the most useful daily. The Boolean function turns any value into true or false. An empty string converts into false, which feels natural. It is empty, so treating it as false makes intuitive sense. But now look very carefully at the next line. Here we have a string containing the single character 0. Most people expect this to be false because 0 is false. But this is not the number 0, it is a string. And that string contains one character, so it is not empty. A non-empty string is always truthy, whatever it contains. So the string 0 is true, while the number 0 is false. This bites people reading numbers from forms constantly. The good news is that the rules here are genuinely simple. There are exactly 8 values that convert into false. False itself obviously, and the number 0. -0 and the digit 0 also count as falsy. The empty string is falsy, as we just demonstrated. Both null and undefined are falsy, as you would expect. And finally none, which rounds out the list of 8. That is the complete list, and it never grows. Every other value in the entire language is truthy, which includes some things that genuinely surprise beginners. An empty array is truthy despite containing nothing. An empty object is truthy for exactly the same reason. They are objects, and objects are simply never falsy. So checking an array with an if statement always passes. You have to check its length property instead. Notice one genuinely strange row in our table though. An empty array is truthy, but number of it gives 0. So the same value is truthy and converts to a falsy number. Those are 2 completely different conversion rules at work. We will unpack exactly why in the next video on coercion. So let us gather the practical rules from all of this. String converts anything at all and never fails. Number is all or nothing, and an empty string becomes 0. ParseInt reads a number from the front and ignores the rest. Always give parseInt a radix so it never has to guess. And memorize the 8 falsy values because everything else is truthy. Convert deliberately.